Yes, my people, and welcome back there. Another episode of Everything is Alright. I'm your host, Tugi, and we are here where all talk is only about wrestling, the best, the fun times, and the entertainment. This is straight into the recap of the episode of Monday Night Raw, which took place in Chicago, Illinois, Chi-Town, baby. And we know whose home that is, but we won't get there just yet. What we're going to talk straight about is the fact that Sami Zayn won the Undisputed WWE Championship at Night of Champions. It was the final, the last real good guy, Sami. Whoa, let's go. He finally did it. He has put a cap on his story and he has won the big one, the beautiful WWE Undisputed Championship. And it's kind of ironic being on this shirt, right on the shoulder with this shirt right now, but we'll get to that when the time is right. Hopefully I don't drop that, baby. But yeah, we go straight in because Sami Zayn has been on an absolute social media madness. He's been driving around with his rooftop down. He's been swinging the title on a swing back and forth like it's his baby, treating it so amazingly. And I actually love it. It's such a spectacle. So we open up with Sami entering the building with his roof down once again, holding the title in the air like it is his child. And as soon as he jumps out, he's saying, "Thank you, guys. Thank you. Amazing, amazing." Boom. Who's he interrupted by? Cody Rhodes. Of course. Cody and Sami are face to face. And Sami expresses that he will leave Chicago still as champion. And boom, what happens? Gunther interferes. Cody Rhodes is attacked by Gunther. And it moves swiftly onto how he kicks Cody's head in between the car door and turns around and says, "Sami, you are a disgrace. You didn't even win the title. Who are you? It doesn't matter. Cody's not your problem anymore. I'm your problem. Worry about me, Sami." So it kicks off straight away with this crazy spectacle. Cody's got blood coming out of his ears. The camera's being hit. Things are going crazy. I don't know. But obviously what we were scheduled for was a main event of Cody Rhodes going for the title against Sami Zayn. And now there's a slight uncertainty because, like I said, Sami wants to fight Cody. But will it happen? As soon as the attack is formed, we move straight on to none other than the "I am a visionary. I am a revolutionary. I am Seth Rollins." Oh, straight in to Seth Rollins, who cut a beautiful promo considering the fact that Seth and the OTC will have a match at SummerSlam in Minnesota. Now, Seth's promo emphasizes the need for someone like himself to prove he's not a fraud by defeating someone like Reigns, but he also speaks about his own journey, his own sacrifice, how his hard work is what matters in this industry, which is very true. He has been a workhorse for the longest right now. And even though Chicago was quite largely unresponsive about what Sami was saying, and they even chant about CM Punk as soon as he enters, to his slight acknowledgement is like, I couldn't care less about this guy right now. I have bigger things to worry about. So whatever CM Punk's doing is irrelevant to me. It moves on to speaking about, like I said, Roman Reigns, and he says, "Chicago! Roman Reigns didn't want to be here today because he doesn't think it does anything for his career, or the check wasn't big enough." And the fact that Roman was the chosen one from day one. Now, he also claims that it didn't matter if Roman Reigns couldn't cut a promo. the fact that Roman Reigns, he couldn't fight his way out of a paper bag, which, controversial, but some people would say it might have been true back in the day. And the fact that no matter what he does, the hard work will always outweigh being the chosen one, because some people, unfortunately for him, are just destined for greatness. Whether or not they're great, horrendous, whatever, the company and the people in charge have already chosen Roman Reigns. Therefore, it doesn't matter what he does, because Roman, no matter what you say, you still need to beat me. Boom! LA Knight. He interrupts. LA Knight interrupts Seth Rollins and comes running into the ring and looks around after going up to every corner to look into the crowd and give his acknowledgement. He turns around and goes, "Let me talk to you." Yeah. Fantastic. I love LA Knight, I cannot lie. But LA Knight comes in very frustrated at the fact that I've been listening to the same promos you've been going on about for the last 2 weeks now. Hey, brother. Hey, little brother. Your skippy dippy promos are not good enough for me because, brother, let's get the same haircut, brother. Let's get the same beard, brother. For some reason, I felt like it was a slight reference to Kendrick because of his music. But anyways, we'll move on. He comes out and he says, "What are you guys the greatest at? You guys are the greatest at avoiding everything and pretending like, oh, let me just be nice to you and you can be nice to me and then we'll have a title match after everything." Knight mocks the fact that they have their tendency to bloviate about their greatness of the cheat code, the title shots that they get, because of the fact that not everyone is earning a title shot. Seth, you came out, gave a promo, called out Roman Reigns, gave him his flowers, and now you're fighting him at SummerSlam? But how did you earn that? And he turns around and says, hey, look, you lost in the first round of the King of the Ring tournament. So did I. You don't see me getting a title shot. Why do you deserve a title shot, Seth? What's going on here? It then turns to obviously LA Knight also expressing to the fact that he goes, hey, I know the clocks ain't on my time. But remember a few years ago when this whole company blew up to bigger than it always was and has been? And who was at the epicenter? Who burst onto the scene with everybody saying, LA Knight, yeah. It was me, not you. It was me. Where's my push? Where's my flowers? Where's my title shot? I'm not getting what I deserve. And I believe LA Knight. Seth then turns around. He expresses the fact that he says, LA, I don't like you, but I respect you, goddammit. I respect you. But this time, I will go back and win the title, which I never lost. Never lost. Didn't lose to Roman. But when I win that title, if you want it, you have first dibs. You can fight me for it when I have the title around my waist, because I am the real champion and I will win what's rightfully mine. As soon as this happens, they drop the microphones. He walks out and out of nowhere, boom, super kick. Jimmy Uso gives a receipt straight back to LA Knight after what happened last week, takes him out, and we move swiftly into the fact that Adam Pearce is arguing with Gunther. What are you doing? What are you doing? Why would you take out Cody Rhodes? That meeting we were supposed to have together, it's not taking place no more, Gunther. You ruined and you violated our trust by taking out the main event. Now I have even more work on my hands. Now I have even more things to actually figure out, because I don't have a main event in Chi-Town. Out of nowhere, from the distance, comes in who other than Nick Aldis, arguing, going face to face with Gunther. Both of them, Gunther gets pushed aside. Get rid of him, get him out of here, leave the building. No one cares about you anymore. You've just destroyed my main event. Therefore, you're irrelevant for the time being. Nick Aldis and Adam Pearce have a little tension between them. Hey, I bet you're gloating now because you're running 2 shows. You're running both my shows. Oh, ain't you doing a good job? Well, figure out who's going to be in the main event then. Let's see what happens. They have a little back and forth. And this cuts straight into the tag team championship division, which is the Street Profits, who want the smoke, who came and got the smoke, who won the tag team titles, who have to now defend against the Vision. Just before the Vision come out, speaking with Jackie Redmond, and from the corner, who pops up? You tell me, guys. Who do you reckon pops up? Of course, it was none other than Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman comes out and says, come back with something worth of your wise man, or don't come back at all. Respectfully, I think he has a point, because he's been helping them excel their careers, catapult where they are and who they are in the actual company. They haven't given enough for him to accept and him to be happy with. So Paul Heyman wants more. Now, during a back and forth between the tag teams, Logan, he tries to interfere, because obviously he's still injured with his arm, his torn tricep. He tries to interfere with Brass Knuckles. We're like, oh, typical. Here we go again. However, this time, the fact that the referee notices it was a decoy. Yeah, Logan Paul, the snaky rat that he is, had 2 brass knuckles. Montez Ford flies over the ring post in the corner, absolutely takes out Bron Breakker. Whilst this happens, the second set of brass knuckles goes into the ring. However, who notices? Angelo Dawkins. Angelo Dawkins notices, grabs them, and whilst he puts the brass knuckles onto his hands, Logan Paul is distracting the referee. Whilst he's about to get hit out of nowhere, which was extremely surprising. I mean, I didn't expect it to happen like this, but the fact that we've seen her speaking with Theory for a good few weeks now, Maxine Dupree comes out and smack in the little jimmies. She delivers a low blow to Angelo Dawkins, takes him out. Austin Theory rolls him up. Boom. 1, 2, 3. New tag team champions. And just like that, the alliance of Austin Theory and Maxine Dupree is sealed with a kiss. I don't know what to make of that, but I'm not surprised, considering the fact that obviously they've been talking, and now they have a reason to help each other out. We quickly cut into the backstage after the tag team titles being changed over to Cody and the medical staff with the managers saying, "What's going on, guys? What's happening? Is Cody okay? Can he compete in the main event?" The referee says, "I'm sorry, but I cannot medically clear Cody because of the fact that he's got a lot of head damage right now. He just got his head kicked in with a car door by Gunther. So I'm going to have to take him to the hospital and do some further checks." And obviously it leaves us completely uncertain for what is going to happen in the main event. We also then cut swiftly back to the Vision with the titles in their hands. Logan Paul claiming, I love you, you're amazing, and you have me on your team, so that makes you even more amazing. Again, as much as I hate Logan Paul, he's amazing. He's fitting into this company so swimmingly, and I think, again, with a bit more and more guidance, he's only going to become a greater heel than what he already is. He's kind of a heel in real life to a degree, which he's made some changes about, but using that as his acting styles is so good. So they jump into the car. Well, no, sorry. Before they jump into the car, Paul Heyman comes out again and acknowledges the fact that they got the job done. He turns and he says, at least someone accomplished something tonight. Theory turns around and thanks him. He says, thanks, Paul. I really appreciate that. I wasn't talking about you, son. I was talking about Maxine. Theory turns and goes, no, sorry, Logan turns and goes, hey, it's tough love, it's tough love. He's doing it on purpose. Don't worry. There's a reason behind this. They jump in the car and exit, leave the building, and out comes Otis and Tozawa looking extremely sad and disappointed in Maxine's decisions, but it is what it is. Maybe she had to step away and step to the vision to step up. You know, she had a little push with the women's Intercontinental title, won it, and then sort of lost it and disappeared again. But this then moved on to the fact that, speaking of Intercontinental titles, Jackie Redmond is interviewing the current champion, the men's champion of Penta. Penta's quickly interrupted by none other than Rusev and obviously his partner Ethan Page. And when they come out, it's so funny because Penta was actually describing or dropping a few names of who he'd like to fight for the title, Javon Evans, and a few others. And he then turns around, and when they enter, Ethan Page goes, Ethan Page and Rusev, and then Rusev comes in and goes, Rusev and Ethan Page, and they just seem to be bouncing off of each other extremely well, making it flow and making it just funnier than what you'd usually expect. But it just works really well. I don't know how, and I don't know how they even put these two together, but it's absolutely fantastic. They actually go into the conversation centered at the fact that Rey Mysterio should be fighting, but obviously they took out Rey Mysterio. Page claiming, obviously, that Rey Mysterio was sidelined because of them. And in comes Dragon Lee speaking in Spanish saying, hey, you can keep Rey Mysterio's name out of your mouth. He starts cursing at him and then starts obviously elaborating on that. And Rusev turns around and responds, hey, you better start learning English because I'm going to crush you too. And it's so simple. And it means obviously nothing. There's nothing to do with the fact that he might not be able to speak fluent English. Obviously he can. We've heard him speak English many times, but they just play on the fact that Rusev will crush you if you don't speak English, even though he says it with an accent. And half the time, Rusev might not even be speaking English himself. We've seen him put promos in both languages. And it's absolutely hilarious. This leads to obviously the intense confrontation with Dragon Lee, Chad Gable coming in as well, and resulting in the fact that we're going to have a tag team title. We're going to have a tag team match. Sorry, apologies, not for the titles, but they're going to have a tag team match. Gable and Dragon Lee versus Page and Rusev, which will be, I don't know where it's going, but it will be a great match and a great spectacle, irrespective of what it means. And obviously, they're showing the good tension between them. However, it then leads to the fact that Penta turns to both Dragon Lee and Chad and says, tonight, when you fight them, please go out tonight with zero miedo, which is zero fear, and take them out, get the job done, because these guys have been running their mouth way too long and gotten away with it. And I want you to do something about it. Cut straight across to the Women's Intercontinental Championship between Sol Ruca, the current champion, and self-proclaimed Big Mommy Sexy Cool Raquel Rodriguez. And during this contest, Sol Ruca showcases not only her agility, but she misses a moonsault and she lands on her feet. But then literally just before executes a springboard twisting body press. Now, these moves are incredibly athletic and not something simple to see people doing with ease, especially against someone like Raquel Rodriguez, who is she's not a small figure, you know? Sol Ruca then escapes a chokeslam, and obviously, the greatest female champion of all time, Liv Morgan and her sidekick Roxanne Perez obviously are going to get involved. Surprise, surprise. However, to Sol Ruca's rescue comes the beautiful, the amazing Io Sky, who takes out Roxanne and Liv with an Asahi moonsault off of the top rope. Whilst Raquel Rodriguez is distracted in worrying about her friends, she is on the receiving end of a soul snatcher, which ultimately overcomes the powerhouse of Raquel Rodriguez, and so Ruca retains and secures the victory. A fantastic spectacle and a great match with obviously slight interruptions and confusions, leaving me with the thought that there's more to that, and maybe there's a chance where Raquel could get a title around her waist. That's what I'm waiting for. That's what I need, because I think she's not being utilized as well as she could. This then leads on to the greatest person on the microphone. Controversial, my personal opinion. My name is Paul Heyman, and I am the advocate and the wise man of the beast, Brock Lesnar. I love how he absolutely says his name every single time he's on the microphone, because this beast is larger than life, is dangerous, is an absolute hazard to everyone in front of him, sometimes even Paul Heyman himself. Paul Heyman enters the ring, addresses the crowd, and he speaks in his trademark, slow, deliberating style, framing the Hell in the Cell match at SummerSlam as the Octagon. He drops names like Randy Couture, like The Undertaker, and many more that Brock has dealt with both in WWE and in UFC. Now, we sometimes tend to forget that Brock was an absolute champion in UFC, and he destroyed people in his way, even when he was fighting through personal struggles, personal health issues, set him back, and he came back forward again. He then turns and says the fact that the Beast punted Oba in his little Femi. Oba got punted in his little Femi. Boom. Oba. Ooh. Oba. Ooh. Oba. Ooh. Oba. The ruler, the destroyer, the eater of worlds, the mountain you cannot climb and you cannot conquer, and you're king of the ring. Oba. Absolute animal. I love Obafemi because this man steps into the ring and he looks at Paul Heyman in the eyes, and Paul is shaken back. But even though Paul Heyman's shaken back, he turns around and he states the fact that, Oba, you talk shit, you get hit. And that is exactly what Brock Lesnar did to you. So you better watch your back. You better think about what you say before you say it. Because Obafemi, you have zero. You have no chance of survival inside that cell against Brock Lesnar. Zero chance. Oba states the fact that after weeks and weeks and weeks calling him out clearly if Brock Lesnar turned up and hit me in my nuts and then walked away like a little bitch, I'm under his skin. I am under Brock Lesnar's skin. And Heyman, you are just a mouth. You are just a mouth, and mouth needs to be fed. But how do you feed if you have no head? What a line. Oh my God. How do you feed if you have no head? Oba just, not only has he got fantastic one-liners, but the catchphrases that this man comes out with, the promos that this man comes out with, and it turns and he says, "This is the end of Brock Lesnar at the hands of Obafemi. Paul, you have to go through hell to get done. So tell your client I will see him in hell." And then he's gone. Oh, bah, ooh, oh, bah, ooh, oh, bah, ooh. Straight after this fantastic promo between Paul Heyman and Obafemi, this goes straight into backstage. Jackie telling Sami that Cody is indeed out for the main event. And now the last real good guy is disappointed with a smile on his face. Really, Jackie? Oh, I really wanted to fight. I really wanted to fight Cody tonight, but that's a shame, isn't it? In comes Adam Pearce, he interrupts and he goes, "Sami, you prepare exactly like you need to, because tonight you will have a match in the main event defending that undisputed title. So fix up, look sharp, and actually think about the fact that you have to go ahead with a match. Remember that, Sami." This then leads on to the antics before, where obviously had Gable and Dragon Lee came out and interrupted Ethan Page and Rusev. Their tag team match featured sort of an overhead belly-to-belly suplex from Gable, who took out both opponents at ringside, again executing the fact that not only was he away for his injury, but his rehab is better than ever, and his comeback is now looking better than ever because Gable is back, and he takes out anything in his way. Dragon Lee hits a tornado DDT and a double stomp on Page whilst he was hung upside down in the corner. The match reaches its conclusion when Rusev caught Lee with an Uranagi followed by a Machka kick, which I absolutely love, which clearly and obviously sets up the accolade, forcing Dragon Lee to submit. Again, I don't know where they're going with this story, but like I said, fantastic spectacle of a match, powerhouse after powerhouse, great chain wrestling and great fluidity within the matches. So I can never complain about this. And this leads finally to Sami Zayn coming out for his main event and title defense. Sami comes out excited, smiling, looking around, thinking, "Hey, I wonder who it's going to be." He gets in the ring. The music goes quiet. The lights go down. And in the distance, entering the building, look in my eyes, what do you see? The cult of personality. I know your anger, I know your dreams. I'll tell you 1 and 1 makes 3. Oh, I'm the cult of personality. The cult of personality. In comes CM Punk. CM Punk. Repping the man himself from Chicago himself. The second city state. CM Punk returns after months out, months being sidelined, after seeing on social media the fact that he's been pumping iron, he's been getting buffer than ever, and he looks great. Don't get me wrong, I'm disappointed at the fact that he was sidelined and for some reason he wasn't involved. I don't know, was there negotiation talks? I couldn't care less. Controversial because I'm going to say something later on after this. Punk comes into the ring, enters obviously, and Sami's a bit bewildered. He's like, "What the hell is going on? Why am I fighting CM Punk? He doesn't deserve this. He's been gone, and now he can just walk in and get a title shot with me, the last real good guy. What do you think this is? Why are they treating me like this? I've been such a veteran, such a fantastic worker for WWE, and they're treating me like trash." Now, it starts off with an intense back and forth with a standing switch by Punk, which leads into a huge clothesline and a massive superplex by Sami. During the commercial break, Punk catches Sami with a dropkick in midair and later hits a high crossbody from the top rope. And the two have a collision where they hit the top ropes rib first simultaneously. Painful as painful spectacle. Obviously, there's so many signature moves involving in the match, which is like counter after counter, maneuver after maneuver, signature after signature, and Sami avoids the GTS attempt and later hits a blue thunderbomb. Punk hits a step-up knee in the corner, followed by a running bulldog and a diving top rope elbow. Obviously, signature moves. Punk locks in the accolade, it's not Rusev anymore. Punk locks in the Anaconda Vice, trying to submit it, but obviously Sami escapes using his legs to wrap around Punk's head. Punk also attempted the sharpshooter, but Sami fights out very, very quickly because he knows he could be in danger and he knows it could end the match. Now, the finish escalates where Sami hits a GTS on Punk, followed with a blue thunder bomb, but obviously Punk kicks out. And after an intense exchange between slap and slap, strike and strike, it leaves Punk with a bloody mouth, showing the fact that they're actually going in hard on each other in terms of strong style wrestling. And Sami attempts his haluva kick. Punk moves out the way, gets out of harm's way, counters with a haluva kick of his own to Sami Zayn. That's a bit of a spit in the face for Sami. That's a backhand straight across for Sami, and then delivers the go to sleep, the GTS, and secures a pinfall victory and becomes the new WWE Undisputed Champion, CM Punk. CM in his hometown of Chi-Town. Let's go. However, I'm gonna place this back here. As much as I love CM Punk, as much as I adore, and I actually do believe he is the greatest on the microphone. Controversial about in the ring, I'm not too sure. In the ring and even on commentary, two out of three there. The fact that he walked back into the actual stadium, into Monday Night Raw, without any appearances, without any build-up, without any hype, without any questions asked, and takes on Sami in the main event for the title. He found his opportunity. He grasped it with both hands, and he won. Now, I love Punk. I really do. I started watching AEW just even before he got there, but I doubled down as soon as he was there. I stayed up all night and I watched him come out, and it was amazing. I love everything he does. I love the fact that after 10 years out, he came straight back into wrestling. We needed him. We've been waiting for him. We've been calling his name out every single week, and he knows it. However, the fact that they absolutely disrespected the last real good guy in wrestling, in Sami Zayn, who has been loyal, hard-working, absolute pillar when it comes to wrestling, and have violated him by handing this opportunity to CM Punk. What are you doing? What is going on? Adam Pearce, why? Triple H, why? Why would you do this to Sami? You know he's been a bit volatile recently, and he has still been slapping every single water bottle in front of him and getting rid of it and destroying things in his way. He has been coming out, giving the best promos, making the crowd listen, making us listen at home. And he's made some very, very good points. And now you have screwed him over like this? Like this? Another Canadian got screwed over. That's all I'm saying. That's all I am saying, because for goodness sake, why would you do it? Now, again, it's bittersweet because I love the fact that Punk is holding the title again, and I hope that he has a nice long reign, and I hope that he shows up to the shows. He turns up to the shows every single week, because we know, unfortunately, Roman Reigns doesn't really do that. But let's see. Let's dissect that in another episode, because that Monday Night Raw had a lot to think about. It had a lot of things going on, and the fact that it ended with Punk, with the new title holder, the new undisputed champion. Bittersweet. But guys, that was a quick roundup of Monday Night Raw, and we have so much more to dissect in the future. There's been a few episodes since, and I can't wait to dive into it, like I said, with my co-host Chard. So guys, please do, like I said, remember to like, comment, subscribe. I will give that show probably about a 7.8 and 8 out of 10. But yeah, again, please remember to like, comment, subscribe, share, hype, all the things that gets us going, and we'll be back for another episode of Everything is Wrestling. Thank you, people. Peace and love. Stay blessed, and I will see you very soon. Peace.